Hello, my name's Mandy and this is my channel Make It Sew. So today I am doing week 2 of my sewing adventures and it is the 10th of December. It's Tuesday. I'm a bit late doing this one but only by a day, so I'm hopefully forgiven. And I just want to start out by saying thank you to everybody who watches my video and subscribes to my channel. I've had a little flurry recently as a few lovely vloggers have been mentioning me, so I hope you stick around and I'm going to tell you what I've been up to in the last week. So sewing wise, I can't really show you too much because people that I made it for are watching, but I have been busy in the background. You're not really going to see what I'm wearing, but it says oh dear. And that was how I felt about yesterday when I was sewing some of those things, because everything that could go wrong probably did, but I can laugh about it now. One of the things I was making was another Sew Over It tote pack for a friend who I don't think watches me like up to date. She's a bit behind, so hopefully by the time she watches this she would have opened the present. But I ran out of webbing, and it's a special webbing I'd got from Boys in Lincoln, and I had 3 meters and you need 4, so I'm going to Lincoln at the weekend, which I'll talk more about later, and hopefully they've still got some. If not, I'll have to change what I'm using. So I've been making that, making another secret present which I can't show, and also I've made the stocking that I showed you last week, and I'll talk about that as well in a minute. So sewing adventures, well, Storm Dara had a bit of a say for some of those, and so I managed to get to the Norwich Sewcial's sewing day on Saturday. For some reason, I never do this because I am such an early riser. I overslept, and it was 9:05 when I suddenly thought, I've got to be there at 10:30. So my children both, bless their hearts, got me my breakfast ready, got my lunch bits ready, packed the car for me, and I was only about 5 minutes late, so I thought I'd done quite well. But what I was making there, I couldn't photo any of it because it was one of my secret presents I was making. But it was a lovely day. It's run by Pippa, who I've actually had lessons with in the past many years ago, and I hadn't seen her since before COVID, and a lovely lady called Emma, who is Crafty Clyde. I can't say that without my teeth getting in the way. Crafty Clyde on Instagram, and they're both really lovely ladies, and Pippa makes the most amazing cake, and it was her birthday on Saturday as well, so that was really lovely. And I sat with some really lovely people. The hall's so big that I didn't get to meet everybody. I'm a bit shy when it comes to just randomly going up to somebody while they're sewing and saying hello, I'm Mandy, so I obviously didn't speak to everybody, but it was really lovely, and I'm looking forward to going to one again next year. So on Sunday I was supposed to be going to Redhill Sewing Social, which is run by the lovely Tania from Just Let Me Sew, but the storm was still around and we really didn't want to risk driving 2.5 hours to get there and then get stuck or blown everywhere. So I'm really hoping to go early next year, because that would have been really lovely. And I was hoping to meet Bea, who's another host from Virtual Sewing Room. She was kindly going to give me some fur for my stockings I was making, but unfortunately we never got to meet up and I never got to see Tania again. So cross fingers for next year. Let's hope the storms calm down a bit now. Other than that, I attended a Virtual Sewing Room, and today I've actually been to London. I met up with my lovely friend Clare at Stratford, parked there for the day because it's easier than trying to drive to hers, and we went into central London with the plan to go and look for the penguins on the penguin trail that's running. we struggled to find the penguins. We were looking for, I think we were looking for 5 in total. There's more than that, and we only managed to find 3. So I'll pop some little pictures here of the penguins we did find, but the trail was not the easiest thing to find. And I know they don't want to make it too easy for you, but when you can't find them at all, it just gets a bit much. So in the end, we ended up at Covent Garden, which was lovely. I really love Covent Garden. That's my favourite place to go besides Kew Gardens in London. And we had a lovely lunch there. We walked about 14,000 steps. So we certainly did get our steps in today. And then I got home. So it was a really lovely day. So what did I make that I can show you? Well, the stocking. I showed you the panel last week, and this is the finished item. I've added a hook, and I thought, I know a lot of you will know how to sew stockings, but there might be just that one person that struggles to put things together. I find it easier if I've got instructions anyway. So I'm going to insert that here, and you can fast forward if you don't want to watch this bit. I really don't mind, but I just think it'd be nice if someone's struggling that they might be able to sew up a stocking like this one. And this one came from Knighton Fabrics, and I'm sure you could make it with a template as well the same way. So I'll see you in a bit. When you get the panels as well as the stockings, you get these white rectangle, funny shaped rectangles, and they are for the top of the stocking. But I don't want to put them on with just the polyester fabric that it is, so I want to add some sort of fur feature, but I have not got any fur or any felt, so I've come up with an idea: fusible fleece. So what I'm going to do is cut this in half and then put it on half of each of the rectangles, and you'll see how it looks at the end. So the first thing I did was cut out the panel for the top of the stocking. There's actually 2 of them, and I traced round that with the fusible fleece, and I'm just going to slice that in half so that you put one bit on this one and then one on the other one. That will be the outer part of your stocking topper, and this bit will be inside, so it will look like that when it's finished. So I'm going to just iron that on. I do use a bit of steam because it doesn't always stick to it, and also the raw edge that will be showing in the middle when you fold it over, I will top stitch around that as well, just to make sure it's secure. So you can see the difference now. That is the bit ironed on. This is the inside bit that will be inside the stocking. So I've done 2 of those. Fusible fleece does pick up a lot of fluff, so if you've got fur or felt, it might be better. Obviously with the fur you wouldn't have it adhesive like this. What the instructions on the Facebook group suggest is that you actually cut it in half and then sew it together. But I actually quite like this fusible fleece idea, so I'm now going to show you what to do next. On the panel you get these 2 opposites of the stocking, which is for your outer, the main fabric, and I've used a little scrap. This isn't in the instructions, but I'm going to use this scrap of the panel to make a hook to hang the stocking up. And then I've also traced round these 2 pieces and mirrored this fabric to do a lining. So the first thing you need to do now, once you've cut it all out and decided how you're going to top your stocking, is right sides together, sew this furry bit here to the front of the stocking, and you'll repeat that on the other side as well. So I'll come back to you in a minute. So I've sewn them right sides together. As you can see, I've done it in black so you can see exactly where I've sewn, and that is a centimetre seam allowance. So when you actually fold it over, you'll see it's lovely and neat on the outside. So now you need to do that by attaching the lining to this one. Again, you'll be doing it right sides together, but you need to make sure that if this foot is sticking outwards like this, that your lining, when it's the right side, will also stick out that way. Okay, so first thing I need to do is pin it again, right sides together along there, and I'll sew a centimetre seam allowance there, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So that is now the lining sewn right sides together as well. So your stocking at the moment will look like this on one side, and you'll see when you fold it over the toes match, and it's exactly the same with this one. So next thing to do is sew them right sides together. So you're going to have one panel laid out, and then you'll get your other mukau and you'll put that on top of this one, and you're going to sew all the way round here on the main piece, all the way over. You're going to leave a 3-inch gap here and then go all the way round. But I want to add a hook as well, so I've got this piece of material, part of the scraps of the panel that it came on. I'm just going to sew that together by folding that in half and then opening it out where the crease is. I'll then fold each edge to that fold, and then I'll fold it over again so it's enclosed. I'll show you exactly what I mean once I've done it. So you can see I've got the crease line in the middle, and I've folded both edges to the middle, and then all I'm going to do is fold that over, press it, pin it, and do edge stitching along all 4 sides. I've sewn it with a contrasting thread because I know I want to show you exactly where the sewing is, but this is for a present, and I didn't really think dark navy on this light blue would look very pretty. So I have sewn all around the edges, but these are raw edges still, but you're not going to see them because you tuck them in the seam. So I'm now going to pin it all together, and then I'll show you where I put my hook, and then I'll sew it, and we're nearly done. So I have pinned all the way round the main stocking piece and all the way round the lining piece, and you'll see this is your middle bit, which will be the top. So I want to put my little hook here. So what I'm going to do is just get the raw edges together, and so that needs to go in between there, between the 2 stockings. So I'll just pin it and then show you quickly because it's quite tricky with one hand. So the hook is in there, and these are the raw edges, so I'm just going to make sure they poke out a bit, and I've put it right to the edge of this white top, and then when you turn it inside out, that will miraculously appear on the outside of the stocking. Just before I sew it up, I also wanted to point out that I made sure that both these seams match on each side of the white topper, so that hopefully they will be level when I turn it inside out. Forgot to also point out before I sew and before you sew, I've put double pins here and here on the lining piece, and that's like the back of the foot, so that I have a gap to turn it all inside out. Very important point, you really don't want to be sewing all the way round because you'll have no way of turning it inside out. So I've sewn it all the way round. That's probably the longest bit of sewing you'll do, and you'll see I've back tacked where the gap is, so the magic happens in a bit. But first, anything that's rounded needs clipping, so I'll do that first and then turn it inside out. So that's all inside out, or the right way out now. And where that gap is, I'm going to use my little pokey stick so that I can get all these bits nice and rounded. And then once that's done, I'm going to do a little stitch to close up that seam. And then all we've got to do is put the lining inside the stocking and top stitch, but I'll show you that bit in a minute. So now all I've got to do is just clip round this top piece and top stitch it, and that will make sure that the interfacing is stable, because it's sewn in here and it's sewn in here, so why wouldn't I do it there as well? That will keep the lining from turning over and showing on the outside. Nearly done now. Here it is, all finished. I've only had a few bits come into my sewing room this week. I've had no new fabric. I am really trying to use up what I've got, which is why with the stocking I used some fusible fleece interfacing rather than go and buy any more felt. So the only things that came in this week were my Specky Seamstress bias binding and label subscriptions, which are, this is the bias binding, hopefully everyone's got it by now, and it's very, very seasonal. I love that, so that will be going into something I'm making. And then we've got 2 lots of labels, which are cute as a button, and some safety pins. And again, these are great for when you're doing craft projects. I think it's nice to have that little touch. And then the next thing I bought were some zips, which I know aren't the most exciting, but I like to find someone that supplies zips that are really good quality. And I'd seen this lady advertising zips on Facebook, and I was a bit dubious, but I have used one and they're really good. I can't show you the one I used because it's in one of those secret presents. But her name is Jean Dove, and she runs a company called Dove's Bag Bits and Polished Pools. I just had to read that, and I'm glad my teeth are in properly. But she advertised these, and I got, surprise surprise, some purple zip pulls. These were £1 each, and then there was some Christmassy ones, and I got these rainbow gingerbread men. They were £1.50, which I don't think is too bad. And I also got a couple, I didn't want to buy too many just in case. I also got a couple of these lovely sewing machine rainbow zip pulls as well. And then the zip pulls, the one I've used I can't show, but it was this lovely black one, and it had a very similar colour to this purple on it for the zip. And then I bought this gorgeous sewing themed zip, which has got all the bobbins and notions on. And then I got a very seasonal blue snowflake zip. These were all £1.50 a metre as well, so it was really cheap, and I think I got 3 metres of each to try out. But so I really found it easy to get the zip pull on. Some of them I really struggle, but that went on really easy. So anything like that is good enough for me. So I'll put a link down below for the ladies' Facebook page. Have a look yourself and see what you think. So on to my plans and my sewing adventures for the coming week. I have attended a virtual sewing room, and I'm sure I've got another session booked at some point. But tomorrow I'm going for a lovely brunch with some friends that are non-sewing. And then my husband and I are going Christmas shopping up in Norwich. So we're hoping it's not too busy as it's midweek. And then I'm working the next day, but after that is when my sewing adventures are going to begin, and I can't wait. So first of all, on Friday, I'm going to Walpole for our Christmas party, so no sewing will be involved at all. and I'm just going to check, but I'm hoping to film a bit of that so you can see what our sewing group is like, because they're really lovely people, and we do a little quiz, we take some food in, and it's just a lovely party for Christmas. And I might even dress up in my Christmas outfit as well. And then I'm coming back Friday night, and Saturday I'm travelling up to Lincoln and staying at a hotel with the lovely Michelle, the menopausal sewer. And we are going to be looking around Lincoln. I will be there a bit earlier than Michelle, so I'm hoping to film the fabric shops if I can. And there's also a lovely light trail up there at the moment, so I thought that might be quite nice to go and look at. And then on Sunday we are going to the Scothern Sewcial, and that's run by the lovely Emma, and I can't wait. Laura from So Very Laura is joining us as well, and there's an afternoon tea because it's Christmas, and it's just going to be a lovely weekend. And I'm not actually travelling home till Monday morning, so at least I will get over all that excitement and not be too tired driving back, because I normally do after the social, and I find it really hard to get back after having all that social time. So hopefully I will be able to show you a few things I've made then, but they may be presents for my family, so I might have to stop them watching me just for a couple of weeks. So I think that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you don't subscribe already, I'd love you to join my channel. And if you can find time to sew this week, make it so. Bye for now.